Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talking Games with Kellie and Andrew. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Kellie.
Welcome back. We're back in the new year, Kellie.
Hey, Happy New Year, Andrew. It's 2024.
Got a mouthful of teeth?
Got a mouthful of teeth, that's true, but I'm missing 4. My 2 front ones and my 2 front bottom ones. Just kidding. My two front teeth. I'm just kidding.
It's very funny to to be missing 2 teeth and it only be those 2.
I mean, it kind of makes the most sense, like if you think about which
punched.
teeth you would most likely lose because they're right there front and center, but
I guess I was thinking of losing them from disease, not from, getting bopped.
well, that's the difference between you and me. I'm always thinking of when my next fight's going to be in the ring.
In the ring.
Yeah.
Kellie and I were talking about our wisdom teeth for like half an hour before we hit record. So I
Yeah.
felt the need to say that she had a mouthful of teeth.
Well, it's true. I won't argue with that.
Yeah, we both lost our wisdom teeth. Not lost. We
I was going to say mine
gave them
were.
away.
I wouldn't say they were lost. I'd say they were choosably removed.
Choosably.
Yeah, do you like that word?
No.
I think it's a real word.
Let's find out.
Choosably? No, that's definitely not a real word.
It sounds very
I
silly.
think I just made that up.
Well, it didn't suggest it. No, it's not. It's not a word.
Choosably.
Choosable as something that is
Choosable,
choosable,
yes.
but not choosably.
Right. Well, if you pronounce the Y like an E, then it's choosable.
Choosable.
Choosable. Well, in a couple years, we might choose a blade to see the new Death Stranding movie coming out.
Why?
That was
Why
really
you
a
had
struggle
a blade
for me.
and choose?
I'm not really sure why I did
That'll
that.
be our new staple. We'll do that all the time.
A couple weeks ago, right around Christmas. It was a little before
Yeah, we
Christmas.
missed a lot. This was December 14th.
Wow, that was like almost a full month ago.
Yeah.
Kojima announced in a tweet that he would be working with A24 to work on a Death Stranding movie. I guess this was actually announced by A24 first, and then Kojima pretty much confirmed it. And here's the blurb if you're interested. The film promises to delve into the mysteries surrounding the apocalyptic event called The Death Stranding. That's the name of the game. Which blurred the lines between life and death and brought forth nightmarish creatures into a world on the brink of collapse. So, there it is. There you have it.
I don't want to say I'm indifferent, but I don't know how this will translate. It's A24. I'm just confused because I feel like A24 is like artsy, and I feel like they would have seen cutscenes from Death Stranding and been like, oh, that was kind of stupid. But what do I know? I mean, I like Death Stranding. I like Death Stranding more than most, I think, but it's kind of dumb.
I think it's an interesting choice to make into a movie out of all of his stories. I would think that Metal Gear would be more of a movie.
Well, I don't think that'd be allowed.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's not his.
That's not really a Kojima thing, is it?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
isn't.
I mean,
Oscar Isaac is playing Snake, remember?
What?
You forget that Oscar Isaac is playing Solid Snake?
What are you talking about?
Oscar Isaac is playing Solid Snake in the Metal Gear
He's playing Dr. Frankenstein in the A24 Frankenstein movie, which is now starring Jacob Elordi instead of Andrew Garfield, in case you were curious.
Who is...
And people are a little bit upset about that because everybody likes Andrew Garfield, but I really like Jacob Elordi, and I think he's going to be a great Frankenstein's monster because he's like 6'5".
And he's ugly.
Well, Jacob Elordi is not ugly. Let's just be clear. Let me be clear on that.
He do got weird features that would make him very monsterable, though.
No, come on. He's not.
I'm not saying
Did
he's
you think
ugly.
call him monsterable?
He's very monsterable. Monsterable.
No, he's not. He doesn't have weird features.
He just has his face pops out.
Yeah, because he's handsome. He's a handsome guy.
I feel like it's that Hollywood thing where most celebrities look a little weird. And that's why we all think, because we're like, oh, because like they don't look like normal people. He doesn't look like a normal person.
Do you think Jacob Elordi is going to be in the Death Stranding movie?
Yeah, he's going to play Norman Reedus.
Maybe he'll play Margaret Qualley.
Yeah. I don't think, just for clarity, I don't think anybody, if it's going to be a prequel, it'll probably be all a different cast. I don't think any of those actors will return.
Really?
Well, if it's a prequel, it really wouldn't make sense for them to be there.
Well, I don't really know the story of Death Stranding, so I don't know.
The only person who would make sense to be there is the older woman, but
Mother?
yes, but it wouldn't make sense because she is not actually that age, you know? Because, like, they
Right.
used her likeness, but she was played by a different actor because she's old. Sorry. Anyway, I will say it's probably going to be a while, so I'm going to let this stew in the back of my mind.
Right.
Just like
Right.
somebody who regularly stews in the back of my mind, Steve.
Steve Stews.
Steve
Steve
Minecraft.
be stewing.
Steve from Minecraft in the live-action Minecraft movie that's coming out is going to be played by Jack Black.
Your use of okay, there's a lot that I have. I have some critiques.
On what, the way I said that
so
news?
you used passive voice pretty strongly there.
Yeah.
The way you said Steve in the live action Minecraft movie will be played by Jack Black, when you could have used a more active voice by saying Jack Black is going to play Steve in the Minecraft movie.
Steve.
I also think that it was interesting that you kind of put a question mark at the end too. You were like, Steve in the live action Minecraft movie is going to be played by Jack Black.
Yeah. I should start every news story I do for the rest of this show. I'm going to have question marks on. Like I'm not certain about the information.
Yes.
Okay, so the Minecraft movie is going to be stupid, right? We're on board with that.
I'm not going to say it's going to be a cinematic masterpiece, but
Jason Momoa,
will it be stupid? I don't know.
Jack Black, and I assume that means Minecraft Steve will be like blocky and everybody else will be normal. Because Jack Black, I don't know if you know this, he doesn't look like Minecraft Steve. Because Minecraft
Is this
Steve,
an animated movie?
no, it's live action. That's why I just said live action, and you said it like 3 times while making fun of me.
You're right.
No, it's
Sorry, I don't know how to read.
yeah, or listen. Sorry, that was
Well, that's certainly
that
true.
was really mean. It's just confusing to me because Jack Black was in the Mario movie, and Jack Black is in the Borderlands movie. So is he just like the video game
I think
guy?
he's a gamer.
But he's like
He's a
not
gamer.
actually. He just like likes the idea. And
So how do you know that? Are you inside of his mansion?
no, but he's pretty
Are
public
you keeping
about that.
track of his hours on Steam? Like, what's going on
Do you
here,
remember when
Andrew?
he made a video game YouTube channel and he didn't play a video game for 4 years?
No, but I remember when he did a collab video with Markiplier. So
Yeah.
that makes him a gamer to me.
I also don't think that it takes gamer status to be in the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't even think it takes gamer status to say that you play Minecraft.
I don't even think it takes gamer status to be on this podcast.
That felt a little targeted. I'm not going to lie to you.
Who?
Me?
We're both on this podcast,
Right.
but you only hear
Right.
what relates to you. You don't.
No, I'm saying that the way you said it, you were like, Kelly's not a real gamer.
That is not.
That's why
I was
she's
saying
on
we
this
both are fake
podcast.
gamers.
Oh, well, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you feel like... I just feel like this movie's going to be so bad.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching it with you in the theater, and just like going like,
Are you going to pay for the ticket?
no.
Well, if I get the popcorn.
Well, then we're paying the same amount of money. Or are you just saying it would feel
So-
less bad for you to pay for popcorn that you enjoy than a movie you hate?
Yes, exactly. So I don't have to have the stain of purchasing this ticket on my bank account. But
I don't think
the enjoyment that I garner from eating movie theater popcorn with extra butter, quote unquote butter, is worth it
So
to me.
I'm not going to call you out in front of every audience member, but I think technically every video game movie we've seen, I've bought the tickets for, and then you make up for it with like
No.
a dinner or popcorn. So I think you've kept your record
I bought the
clean.
tickets. I bought the tickets to Uncharted. Remember, because we had to change plans.
But I also technically bought the tickets to Uncharted because we had to remember we were going to go, but then we didn't, but then we did.
Oh wait, you're right. Wow.
So
but I bought dinner that time.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, you financially we're 100% square. I'm not trying to call you out for that. I'm just saying you have kept your hands clean of the tickets every time.
Well, I'm a creature of habit.
I guess we've only seen 2 movies, right? Uncharted and Mario, and then we watched FNAF, but that was at home, right? Was there a
Right.
third movie we watched? No, because I saw Sonic without you. What movies have
And
we
we
seen?
didn't see Gran Turismo based on a true story.
No, sadly, we missed that one. No, I guess it's only been 2, but we'll be back in, I don't know. I'll look it up. Next video game movie. Well, because you're not going to watch Sonic 3, are you?
Probably
Even though
not.
Shadow's in it?
Well, I have something to say.
About what?
James Marsden.
Oh,
Have you
what?
seen the show Jury Duty?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Why?
I was just saying I started watching it.
You
Me and
did?
Reed started watching it. Yeah, we're only on like episode 3. But I thought the bit where he was like, I'm in the new Sonic movie. And the other guy's like, oh, I haven't seen it. I heard it was bad. And then he comes back the next day and he was like, it was actually really good.
It's also...
That made me laugh.
It's funny because he's like, I'm in the Sonic movie. And he's like, oh, I heard that movie sucked. I'm like, whoa.
I know.
That's bold.
That was Ronald. He really... Okay, you guys, I'm sorry. Watch Jury Duty if you can. It's free on Freevee.
On Freevee.
With ads.
It's also...
Yeah,
I thought it was
or
on Amazon.
Well, Freevee is under Amazon.
It
Amazon
is?
owns Freevee.
See,
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Well, aren't you glad that I'm on this podcast?
No.
So now you know.
No.
And you knew about the Jacob Elordi thing thanks to me. So you're welcome.
You know what? You're right.
I've got a lot of knowledge, just like this next headline, which is all about
Wait.
the PlayStation 5. Oh,
Borderlands comes out August 9th, 2024. So that's the next time we'll be in a theater.
oh God.
You
I
can
have
keep talking,
I have to wash my hair that day. Sorry.
sorry. You're not washing your hair till August 9th.
Is that the one with Kate Blanchett?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's not going to come out. Anyway, the next news story. See, I had this really nice transition all lined up, and then you were like, wait,
All right, let's
Kelly,
pretend.
hold
Let's
on.
pretend. Okay.
I don't remember. Oh, I have more knowledge all about the PlayStation 5,
Oh.
which has now officially surpassed 50 million in sales. 50 million units
That's nuts.
sold. That's a lot of units.
That's so... It's been out not that long.
Well,
I mean...
2020,
Well, 2020,
2020,
yeah.
right? Almost 4 years.
Well, it came out 3 years ago. And a couple...
Oh,
3
you're
years
right.
and a couple months.
And some change.
Yes. But that's a lot. Because, like, remember how hard it was to get for the first year? So the fact that it
Yeah.
has not just maintained but increased its momentum. Like, imagine what those numbers would be like if anybody could have gotten it when it came out.
I got my PS5 in January 2021.
Did you?
Yep. It was
Days,
it was a battle.
Days into January. Like, it was just a few days into January, right?
It was like January. I think it was like around this time. It was like January 6th
Oh.
or 7th or 8th.
Oh, that's what you were doing on January 6th, 2021?
Yeah, I was getting my PlayStation.
Uh-huh. Did you by chance steal it from any
Nope.
major officials' offices?
No.
You heard it here first. Kelly's PlayStation 5 is actually Nancy Pelosi's PlayStation 5 that she took from
Well,
the Capitol.
well. No, it was a really hard won battle.
Whoa, you
Okay.
shouldn't say that. We're talking about
I'm talking about my journey to get a PS5.
your journey to
I
to
followed
DC.
this account on Twitter, and it was all about. It was.
Like a
I
stock
followed
alert.
this account on Truth Social.
PlayStation stock
I'm
alerts
sorry.
on Truth
sorry.
Social.
And he tweeted, he was like, Best Buy has them on sale right now. Check it out right now, or you're not gonna get one. And I was like, "Dude, I was on it, dude."
I mean, those at that point it was still like 30 seconds tops of stock.
Yeah. I mean, I had to wait in a queue. It was serious.
Yeah.
And then the moment that I purchased it, I'll never forget. I was like, I couldn't believe that it happened because I had tried it like 3 times before then at different retailers.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I said my order went through. And I was like, oh my God, my order went through. So then I went to the Best Buy and I picked it up, which is funny because that Best Buy is actually right by my place of work right now.
Oh.
Not going to dox myself or anything. But yeah, it was. And the guy came out to my car. He had the box because this was 2021. So we were still kind of in the throes of COVID. So I couldn't go inside. And he was like, here you go, ma'am. And I was like, oh. And then I got home and I set it up, and then I played Astro's Playroom, and then I played Cyberpunk on it, and I was like,
Oh, that was probably hilarious because it's like the most distinct leap in quality.
yeah, it was certainly an experience. I was like, wow, I didn't know the game could run like this
What, correctly?
at all.
I think I got mine like 3 days late, which I'm not complaining about that. That's fine. Because I had the option to pre-order it, and I was like, I don't think I want to, because there were no games on launch that I wanted, which I still think was accurate. There really wasn't anything interesting at launch. But
What about Bug Snacks?
I could have played that on my PS4 though.
Oh,
as well as Miles Morales. The only thing I couldn't was Astro's Playroom. But
well,
do you want to know what happened? Was like 2 days before launch, somebody tweeted a video of their like they had it already, and they were filming themselves pulling the trigger during Astro's Playroom when you're like using the Gatling gun, the Gatling
gun,
and it's like boo, 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 boo. And the trigger like fights back. You all know. It's like and it fights back.
Haptic feedback.
And it feels incredible. And I knew haptic feedback was in there, but I saw like he filmed it from the side, so you saw the trigger fighting back against his finger. And I was like, "Oh, I need one." And that was like the switch flipped for me, and then I was on every website for days cuz I was unemployed at the time. And it was good because that meant that my entire life was spent refreshing pages over and over and over and over and over. And then eventually it went up on Amazon on release day, and I hit order immediately. And I was very lucky. I got one, and it came like 3 days later. And it was funny because I accidentally used my mother's credit card because we share so we can save money on Prime. And then I texted her and I said, "Hey, I just spent $560 USD on your credit card. I will pay you back. I'm too scared to change the payment method." Because I was like, what if they don't send it to me if I do that?
Yeah.
So, and then I paid her back. And I shouldn't have bought one. There was nothing interesting on, but I loved it. Was so fun. Like the PlayStation 5 was very novel, as most launches are,
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm most excited about the Switch 2 coming this year. If it does, like, I want a new console to play. It's always so novel.
Yes.
And it won't. Like, when did you got a Switch a year after, right? Because it was your birthday of 2018.
Yes.
There's just something. The Switch specifically was a novelty that'll never be recaptured. Because it's like, you pick it up, and now it's just on the screen.
Yeah.
Like that can
for sure
never be recaptured. But hopefully the Switch 2 has something interesting that we're all like excited about. Haptic feedback? Oh my god, if the Switch 2 has haptic feedback, I'm going to literally like just wail like a donkey on this show.
Oh. That's a really optimistic thought.
Yeah. I feel like I have completely derailed us on
No, we just took a little trip down memory lane.
You know who else is going to be taking a trip down memory lane?
Who?
All of us when we revisit Metal Gear Solid 3 and Silent Hill 2 in the remakes that PlayStation seemingly has confirmed for 2024.
Yippee!
Did you like the way I restructured that sentence?
Yippee!
I changed that sentence as much as I could have. The headline of that story.
Right.
Are you...
Yeah, you did a great job. No critiques. I got nothing to say.
So we didn't talk about... What?
I mean, I do have something to say about the story, but the way you delivered it, I have no issue with.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
We didn't talk about this in our 2024 preview because neither of these games had release windows. I personally thought it was safe to assume they were not coming in 2024, but PlayStation released an official 2024 preview blog post, I guess you could call it. And included on it was Metal Gear Solid Triangle. That's the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. And Silent Hill 2. So what do you think? Or do you think it's going to happen, Kelly?
I do. I actually, I don't know. I sort of think that Silent Hill 2 is more likely to happen this year. Just because.
Announced earlier.
I don't know. Yeah, but, I mean, I don't know. I guess so. We've got a lot of year left.
Yeah, I mean,
11
they're both
months.
remakes, so theoretically it shouldn't be like that much heavy lifting. Especially Metal Gear Solid 3 that appears to be like 1-to-1. I don't think that one should take too much. I mean, Silent Hill 2 was announced like how long ago was that? Holy crap. A year and change. Yeah, October 2022. So late 2020, October 2024 would seem pretty prime to me.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I sort of am of a mind that these things that are like, oh, here's a preview of what's coming this year are always subject to change, and they just throw stuff in to build hype.
Yeah.
But
I guess it's only weird to me because it's like so specific to 2024 and they don't include any 2025 titles. But I guess these games just don't have any window, so who knows? Yeah.
Or maybe they asked for like a perspective from the studios, and the studios were like, yeah, 2024.
Sure.
I
mean, it's Konami, so who knows?
Yeah.
And Bloober makes games fast, but I don't know if maybe they're putting in more quality for this one than they usually do. Not to attack Bloober.
What was the last Bloober game that came out?
Layers of Fears. They release games a lot.
Layers of Fears is such a bad name. That's like a historically bad name.
It's one of the worst
But you know
names.
what? It's also confusing because Layers of Fear is the first game.
Yeah,
and Layers
of Fears is a remake of Layers of Fear 2, which is not an old game.
This is so stupid.
Yeah, because
I need to get Bloober on the line and tell them about how stupid this is.
Okay, their phone number is 4812-3538-555. That's not a joke.
Thanks so much.
That is genuinely their Polish phone number.
I'm dialing as we speak.
Kelly's holding up an iPad. And then said hello into the iPad. Can you call people from your iPad?
You can do FaceTime calls because it uses data and Wi-Fi.
But that has your face on it.
Well, you can just do FaceTime audio.
Oh, okay.
Which is just your voice.
I see. Well,
yes.
Since 2016, Bloober has been on an almost once a year release schedule.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that all? That's like not developing though. Like some of those are just publishing, right?
Nope. They develop them.
What?
They did Layers of Fear, Observer, Layers of Fear 2. Sorry, I should say the dates. I'm just saying names. Layers of Fear was 2016. Observer was 2017. Then there's nothing in 2018. But
so you lied.
But in 2019, they have Layers of Fear 2 and Blair Witch. So they did 2 in 2019.
Oh, God.
They did the System Redux of Observer in 2020, Medium in 2021, Break in 2022, and then Layers of Fears in 2023. And then Silent Hill 2 does not have a release date.
They did that Blair Witch game? I forgot.
Wait, they took the S off Layers of Fears. What?
What does it mean? What does it mean?
Did they really do that? They did that. What the frick? That's even more confusing. So that means Layers of Fears changed name to Layers of Fear and is a remake of Layers of Fear 2.
Maybe it's just both games put together in one big thing?
No, it's a remake of 2. That's like, that was the thing.
Did you play that game?
No, I played the first one.
It's kind of boring.
It's a fun game to play in a group.
It's like...
It's silly. It's not scary.
It's not.
You know that one scene where the little girl runs into the wall?
Into the wall? There's... Well, never mind.
You can spoil it.
I was going to bring up a content creator, but I've already talked about Jacob Elordi this episode, and I don't want to derail us further.
Jacob Elordi made a Layers of Fear video?
No. I'm just saying I don't want to like bring up an outside person.
Can you? Now I'm confused, and I feel like everybody else is going to...
Do you know the streamer? His name is Germa.
No.
All right, never mind then.
But you can still say it. Did he play Layers of Fear?
Well, it's more funny if you know who he is, but he streamed this game, and the part where the little girl ran into the wall, he just kept going and she just kept running into the wall. And like, it was very funny, especially because it was him, but you kind of have to know him to really get it. Great stuff. I highly recommend Jirma. There's so much lore. I mean, it's crazy.
Can I call myself stupid and give you a high five and call you smart?
Yeah, why?
Layers of Fear 2023, which used to be called Layers of Fears, is a remake of Layers of Fear 2 and Layers of Fear 1, as well as the Layers of Fear Inheritance DLC.
Ah, I see. Okay. Well.
But it's not called Layers of Fears anymore.
That's probably for the best.
But is it? Because I thought
now
that
there's
was the
only
best
one
part
layer
about
of
it.
fear. No. The best part about it is that video that I was just telling you about.
Go
where the
watch
little girl
the
runs into the wall
Jirma
like 1,000
video
times.
of a girl running into the wall 1,000 times.
Wow. He should pay us for this.
I don't think that we're
Plug.
going to get him any money. Like, I don't think any influx we provide him is not going to make him money. He's not going to make money off us.
Maybe I just want an excuse to meet him.
Maybe he should just pay
so
us
wrong?
just because.
Yeah, I think so. You know who's not getting paid?
Who? Sorry, I thought you were just gonna keep going. I didn't realize you were waiting for me.
I actually don't really know. This was not really a great transition. Rockstar, you know the company, they originally had 8 planned expansions for GTA 5. The game, the campaign, the story. But they scrapped them all to work on GTA Online. GTA Online.
That's sad.
This was a leak. Also, that a potential Bully 2 game was canceled.
I'm hopeful based on
Which
the
is
information
crazy.
is that Bully 2 was shelved versus these, because it's not 100%
Sure.
clear. Like, the DLC is dead, but the Bully 2, it's not 100% clear, so I'm just going to be optimistic and hope that it was shelved and not canceled.
I appreciate your optimism.
But let's be realistic here.
Yeah,
That's a lot of DLC to cancel.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
is, and
just to make a little bit of money off online.
well, I think it's more than a little bit.
Oh, well, I guess what I should say is they should have just hired more people so they could do the iterative changes to online and keep making the DLC.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like Rockstar as a company just like notoriously makes bad decisions all the time. So, but they make millions and millions and billions of dollars, so it doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want, really.
Can I be
If
controversial?
you think about it.
Controversial.
Yeah.
I started Grand Theft Auto 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
Right.
I like driving around and being silly and like getting my star ranking up and doing bad things. I do not. The story missions I find incredibly unfun. Not incredible. They're just boring. They're just like too restrictive for me. It's like drive at this line. I'm like, oh, isn't the whole point that I can kind of do what I want? And they're like, no. And I know that's Rockstar's whole like shtick. And that was very much the case in Red Dead 2, which I did like. But Red Dead 2, it almost felt like, well, I liked that story, so that made all the difference, I guess.
Yeah, Red Dead 2 just felt so intentional. Like, it felt like they had a story that they were trying to tell, and that was the most important thing about the game.
It almost felt like the open world was the like unnecessary part.
Yeah, and I know people say it's a slow game, and it is. It's very slow and it's clunky, but there's something about the story of that game is so good. It really drives everything else, and it makes you feel like you're playing something bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
Whereas I agree, like GTA, it just doesn't feel like that. It's like, what story are we telling?
I guess it's just kind of like being like
It's a satire,
being silly.
so it's like, yeah, and it's like it's funny, and but it's never to the point where I'm like, wow, I'm so invested.
Yeah, because
the
funny, like in Red Dead, I was super invested in those characters and stories. So the missions that could be a little boring between, I was still invested in. But in Grand Theft Auto, I'm like, I'm not laughing enough at these cutscenes to care to do the story, like to do the gameplay.
Right.
So I probably will not be playing anymore. Sorry. I'm still interested in GTA 6 because I think they probably learned a lot from Red Dead 2, and I think it'll hopefully fall somewhere more in the middle. Like, the open world is super silly, but maybe the story is less so. You know? That's
Yeah.
what not to jump back to the GTA 6 trailer, because we've talked about it plenty, but like, in my brain, what that trailer taught me is you can play around and be silly as much as you want, but it looks like the main story is not going to be very silly. And that sounds kind of great to me.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm also excited to play as a female character.
Yeah. And I think
That'll be
that's
kinda
why
fun.
I'm like, I mean, Grand Theft Auto doesn't have the best history with like respect of women. It's not like it's the most overtly negative, but it's not very positive. And like, even Red Dead 2, which I would say is a very nuanced and well-written story, is it's men, you know? It's almost exclusive. There's a couple women, and they're well written and well acted, but like, it's a story about men ultimately.
Yeah, man.
I wish it's not that you slammed on the table; it was the camera like flailing while you did it. Do you agree with what I like? How I'm? Because like Grand Theft Auto is obviously there's a lot of like stripping and prostitution and that kind of stuff, and
There's a lot of masculinity. It's not a story that, but it's hard because I feel like maybe when Grand Theft Auto 5 was written, and I do feel like the writers, like I said, it's a satire, so I feel like there's intentional writing in Grand Theft Auto 5 too, but the writing is sort of an afterthought. It's more just a vehicle for you to be able to do crazy stuff. I feel like the writing of that time was not necessarily, I just feel like it was sort of bare bones. Like there are female characters, but it's like Michael's horrible wife and Franklin's mother or aunt.
Yeah.
It's like these characters aren't
they're
important.
Not characters, they're like caricatures.
Yeah, they just exist in the story as whatever. So it's like it is what it is. Like they're trying to tell a story, but these stories are very like, yeah, man, we gotta do this, this, and this. It's like these are stories that typically only go to male characters, and these male characters do these male things. Kind of the same as Red Dead Redemption. You don't see a lot of stories like what Arthur does for a female character. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not something that exists. So that's why I think it's exciting. And I don't necessarily think that these are stories that are feminist in any way. I just think that they're sort of, they don't really think about it.
It's a new approach that we haven't had the luxury of seeing yet, you know?
Yeah, and I'm not sitting here saying that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be like the next Bell Hooks or whatever, but I just feel like having a female character and putting her in that world with those stories will add something new and different and maybe something a little bit deeper to Grand Theft Auto, which maybe is not what some players want. Some players probably just want, we want crazy stuff to happen on screen, but to me, it seems like they're going to be able to strike a happy medium between players who want deeper stories and players who want to see the crazy stuff.
Well, so here's what I'll say, because this is going way deeper now, and this is crazy because we were talking about GTA leaks, but I do think that the representation of women is like it's bad in video games. And I've this is not news. This is not something shocking. I don't think either of us are surprised to hear that. But like a little bit of behind the scenes, and I didn't even talk to you about this, Kelly, but a little bit of behind the scenes for how difficult it can be. I was making the thumbnails for, because, we recorded our Game of the Year and our 2024 preview episodes in one sitting, which meant when I edited the following day, I made all 3 thumbnails at once. And while I was making them, because those thumbnails just consisted of like a litany of video game characters from our Game of the Year candidates, as well as from upcoming games, I made it and I looked at it and I said, that's all men. And I had to step back and be like, and that wasn't me like excluding women. That was just because I looked up, like I just pulled up the main character from all of our Game of the Year candidates, and it was almost exclusively men, And I think the only real exception was that for Baldur's Gate 3, I used Astarion, And that game does have good representation, but, you know, for SEO purposes, Astarion is the face of Baldur's Gate 3. But that's just something that I had to like step back and think, okay, what do I like? Do I change things here? And for me, GTA 6 is going to be the biggest game. It might be the biggest game of this decade, you know? Like, I know it's 2024 now. That game's coming out in 2025. I know it seems bold to assume that, but come on. GTA 5 or 6, sorry, will probably be the biggest game of the 2020s. If not it'll be top 5 for sure. So having a woman as the main character, and I know there's 2 main characters, but you know, she was the one that was in the first trailer. I presume she at least has a little more weight. That's a big deal, I think. It is a big deal. And I hope that, I mean, Rockstar clearly knows what they're doing. It's not an accident that they're not like, oops, woman. Like, it's on purpose. So I think it is a big thing, and I'm glad it's happening.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, just to sort of put a pin in it, I think that representation has gotten a lot better, and I think we don't realize it in the moment because we just play these games and we think about them when we play them, and then that's it. But I think that if you even look back at the time that GTA 5 came out, which was like, what, back in 2012, 2013?
Yeah.
It was a very different place in the world. And I think that even like going from, okay, GTA 5 to Red Dead, I think the women in Red Dead Redemption are written really, really well. And I think they're all given, I think the only downside is that you kind of have to dig a little bit deeper to get to those stories because you play as Arthur, who is a man. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of interesting things in that game in terms of like female characters and not even just like the female characters that live in the camp with you, but like all like the women that you encounter throughout the story and the side stories, and how Arthur can sort of interact with them. And I think even from then, like in 2018, I just think about how different of an environment it is. And like with Baldur's Gate, it's very interesting. Like all the female characters in Baldur's Gate are physically a lot stronger than the male characters, which is kind of funny. Like if you look at their strength stats, it's kind of crazy. But anyway, that's kind of
like nothing in that game. It's they are who they are.
Yeah. And I think that game's success and popularity is a good sign for, future endeavors in sort of closing that disparity a little bit. So
yeah, because I'm sure some people are sitting here being like, oh, Baldur's Gate 3 is like liberal propaganda, but like obviously I have a circle that leans that way, but like think of like Starfield. I see some of the negativity around Starfield from right-leaning sources, you know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, we use Twitter, and no matter how you like to frame it, Twitter is a right-leaning platform. No matter what you do, it will do that. Mm-hmm. But I don't see that for Baldur's Gate 3. So I think maybe when it becomes so, like, organically written, even people who don't like that kind of stuff don't really notice. Or maybe they just avoid it entirely. Who knows?
And the honest truth is that people who engage with media and games in that way, they're not. You can't take them seriously.
No, it's a stupid way to.
You can't. You're not engaging with the content. You're not getting anything out of it. You're just spouting what you see on social media and hoping that someone raises to meet your argument.
Well,
it's like yelling at the clouds.
They're sitting here and they're like, I will not engage with this content for political reasons. And I'm like, and that's different from like boycotting because of labor conditions or something. It's because of them being petty about representation. There's a big difference between doing something like that and, well, I guess in a sense, it's no different. If you're like, oh, I'm not going to play this game because you can pick pronouns at the beginning. That's not that different from saying that people are playing games for liberal reasons. Oh, you played Baldur's Gate 3 because it's like liberal agenda. I'm like, no, I would never play a game for a liberal agenda. That's silly. I'm going to play a game because it's a good game, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I love games, but a lot of them are male fantasy, slightly right-leaning products, you know? And that's just how it is, you know? And it's getting way better, you know? Look at, I don't know, like Uncharted 1 versus Last of Us 2. Like, compare the representation in in Naughty Dog, like what progresses and stuff. And I think that's an important thing to consider. And I think, I'm just going to do one more tangent. Is that okay? This is like all tangent. Because like for me, one bit of representation that I am very hyper-focused on is for gay men. Because I'm a bisexual man, so I, like to see representation. There is a lot of representation of queer men in like RPGs, games like Baldur's Gate, games like Dragon Age, right? Where you have choice. They will put in characters that can have gay relationships, you know? Like when I played Mass Effect, it's like, oh, Kaiden is it Kaiden or Kaiden? Kaiden is gay, but I'm like, but when I'm playing these games, I don't view these characters as representation so much as just options, you know? The only character that I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, that dude's gay is like Astarion. And even he is he's still bisexual, but like there's clearly a queer leaning in that character. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
But that's one of those groups that I'm like, because there's a lot of lesbian representation in video games now. Maybe not a lot, but like think about the two biggest Sony properties right now are Horizon and Last of Us, and they're both lesbians. You know, they are both lesbians. The games are lesbians. No, the leads of those games, Ellie and Aloy, are both lesbians. Granted, there's a conversation to be had about them being like femme-presenting lesbians versus not having any masc-presenting lesbians. There's a lot of conversations to had. I guess I'm just like very lightly complaining that there's no gay men in video games. Like the only one that pops in my head is Psychonauts 2, has a gay man couple, a gay couple of men,
just a couple of guys who are gay
and also are together.
I'm trying to think.
It's very uncommon for like exclusively gay characters, you know? Because like there's a lot of bisexual men in those RPGs. A lot.
There's a really, really wonderful exclusively gay character in Dragon Age Inquisition.
Okay. I didn't know that. So like if you're a woman, you can't romance him.
Yes.
See, that's I didn't know that. But like that's the other thing is like it's a short list, you know?
Yeah. For sure. Like I had to think about
exactly. And the Psychonauts one only stuck out in my brain because like there's a wedding scene in the game that's very touching. But like I probably would have forgotten if there wasn't that because they're side characters. Yeah. It's not like you will never forget Ellie in Last of Us 2 or 1, because it's like she's in a romantic relationship for a 30-hour game, you know?
Yeah, so there's also a character in Baldur's Gate 3 named Sauceman Chorizo. He's a chef and he's gay. He has a husband.
His name is Sauceman Chorizo?
Well, yeah, he's a chef, so that's his name.
That feels like chef racism. Like we're gonna name. He's a chef. What do we name him? Sauceman. What's a food? Chorizo? Yeah. Sauceman Chorizo.
Well, he's gay.
Okay.
So, and happily married.
Okay. Anyway.
I'm just not trying to derail you. I just wanted to...
You cannot derail me. We're talking about gay men in video games on the back of the GTA 5 canceled expansions.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna move on. No transition.
Yeah.
We've been talking for like 15 minutes about something unrelated. You know what?
Right.
It was fun. I think it was a very valuable conversation we just had.
I agree. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
What?
But that was important to me.
I was gonna say, I feel like I'd be pretty surprised if a member of our audience was like, yuck.
Well, we know one friend of the show is incredibly homophobic. So.
I feel like we should. It's a good bit, but also like I'm not gonna name anybody because
no, of course not.
Then it's public, but
there's a friend of the show who's not only incredibly homophobic but also super misogynistic, and he knows exactly who he is when I'm talking right now.
You know who you are.
I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Okay, what's the next news story, Andrew?
This one's not so fun, but PlayStation Studio Insomniac actually fell victim to some leaks over our holiday break. There was lots of things that leaked. Footage from Wolverine, as well as the game release schedule that they have for the rest of the decade. We're not going to go into the specifics of what they announced because it's pretty unreasonable how these things leaked. And, if you didn't hear about it, keep it that way because, it spoils a bunch of new games that we didn't know existed. You probably could have, deduced it, but like I said, it literally has their schedule between now and 2029, and it'll probably change as well. As well as, worst of all, a bunch of employee information. So the information, the private information of a bunch of people who work at Insomniac leaked. I saw the release schedule by accident, and then some Wolverine footage came across my feed that I looked past quickly. Partially because I don't like looking at leaked beta footage because I'm like, this is not a game yet. It's like the GTA 6 stuff when it leaked. It was like, this is not even a game. Why am I looking at this? But it's very sad. It's leaks like this are really unreasonable. It's one thing when a little bit of information leaks, oops, we accidentally posted this thing, but there is employee information in here. This is not cool. And the fact that this group held it hostage for $2 million, and then I guess Insomniac or Sony didn't pay, which I get that as well. But the fact that employee information got out to the public is just not cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can say. It is very unfortunate. I guess it's just one of those things that's I just hope that everyone who's been affected is able to find some sort of peace. I don't really know. I just feel bad. People were in bad spots because of this. I don't know.
Yeah. All I'll say, and this is, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but Insomniac is one of the few big studios that's been layoff free. I hope that after this suffering that they're going through that it stays that way, but we'll see. Hopefully 2024 in general is much more layoff free.
Yeah, I would hope so. Feels like it's been bad for a while now, and and our last bit of news is also maybe not so great for fans of The Last of Us and fans of multiplayer games. But that Last of Us multiplayer game that was kind of supposed to be happening has officially been canceled by Naughty Dog.
Ouch.
I think we talked about this and pretty much said to each other this game is not happening.
Yeah, I don't think we said it on air, but we definitely said after the all those contracts got cut short a few months ago. I know they weren't technically layoffs, but after they cut off all those contractors, it was
Yeah, something was afoot. And that something was a cancellation.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is, man. I can't say. I feel like the desire for this online game was not really there.
It lost steam. I feel like if it came out a while ago, if it came out maybe if it came out this year, we'll say that. As in 2023, it's 2024 now. If it came out this past year, I think it could have been something. Riding off Last of Us 2 ending its life in a sense. There could have been something here, but they just missed the train. They missed the boat. They missed the taxi.
They missed the rickshaw.
They missed the zip line. They
missed the hot air balloon.
They missed the blimp.
They missed the water skis.
You win. Just imagining Neil Druckmann on a water ski now for some reason.
I'm imagining him drowning.
Wow. Why?
Sorry. I don't know what came over me.
I don't hate Neil Druckmann.
I don't like him.
I don't love him. I'm neutral.
But I don't.
He's good at making games.
I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry. I don't know.
I was gonna say I don't want him to drown just because I'm not his best friend.
Yeah. Right. Well, that makes one of us.
You just hate lesbians, don't you? And he made those.
No.
He invented lesbians. That's what the gamers taught me.
I don't hate lesbians.
Are you mad that he invented them, though?
Yeah.
Okay. Stepping back and looking at this more big picture, this is not good news for PlayStation's live service push. because I would say this was their biggest one. Oh, well, I'll be fair. I guess Bungie's new game Marathon is probably going to be a bigger push. I'm not interested, but it'll probably be a bigger push than this would have been. But like this was a big deal. They had 12 live service games lined up. We know, as we spoke in the last news episode, that they delayed half of them. And now they have one less. At least one less that we know of. This is not looking good for their live service push. Sony's.
Yeah.
Not Naughty Dog specifically.
Yeah. I think maybe critical reception to that live service showcase last summer was really bad.
And my only hope from this is that other PlayStation studios like Sucker Punch or like Insomniac weren't getting pushed towards live service yet, and that Sony was like, well, let's see how Naughty Dog does. Let's see how a big hitter does. And that because this failed, those studios will remain on what they were doing. Because the idea of every major PlayStation studio losing, years of work, it's just not fun to think about. Like, I hope that Sucker Punch is getting ready to give us their new game, not sitting here being like, okay, we just threw 3 years of work away on our Ghost of Tsushima live service game.
Yeah, I'm not laughing at people losing work. I'm laughing at the thought of a Ghost of Tsushima live service game.
Hey, they released that multiplayer DLC, but I don't think that counts.
I'm gonna say it doesn't.
Yeah, live service implies it's alive.
You know what's really fun about Ghost of Tsushima?
When you go with your sword.
I was gonna say that it's a single player game that you can play offline.
Oh, yeah, I like that too. I guess in a sense, we say the same thing. Because I was referencing going swish, 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 but like as a single player.
Right. I also like when you play the pan flute and the little cats show up.
I like the fox that you can chase around.
And they almost look like little bears. They're so cute. They look like Cookie.
Speaking of cookies, I ate a bunch of Christmas cookies and played some video games. Should I?
Tell me about the cookies you ate.
So my mom
I don't care
makes
about the video
giant
games.
platters of cookies, like 100 different types over the whole course of December, and then freezes all of them. So I got to make a giant platter that I took home, and I took way too many. Like, way too many.
Wow.
And then I got food poisoning. Unrelated to the cookies. Unrelated to the cookies, I promise. But why I said that is because I was busy with the holiday, and then I got very sick with food poisoning, and then I got like a cold right after that. So I've been kind of reeling physically with that kind of stuff. So my gaming time has not been great, and I apologize. I feel like usually, like, specifically, I'm a silly guy. So when I come back from these holiday breaks we do, I'm like, I played 12 games while we were on break. I didn't do that. I did not finish. I finished a single game between then and now.
Well,
I played Baldur's Gate 3, but I didn't play enough more to talk about it, so I'll let that one lie. It's going well, though. I only play that game when I'm like, okay, I'm going to play 3 hours. Like, if I have a little bit of time, I'm like, no, not touching it.
yeah, you kind of need to invest.
Yeah, so.
You need to get in from the ground floor.
Right, and I'm in Act 2 now, so I'm in on the ground floor in the sense that I'm deep underground. Well, I don't know if it's underground, it's just very dark.
It is not underground.
Oh, okay, it's just very dark in the Moonrise Tower area.
What else have you been playing?
I played semi-new release, Armored Core 6, FromSoft's new game. Mech, action, Fires of Rubicon. It's the subtitle. If you've played a Souls game, this game will not be familiar to you because they're very unrelated. But it is made by FromSoft, and there's a little bit of DNA in there that I noticed, but for the most part, it's mostly an entirely new game. It's very mission-based. There's no open world or anything. You're just playing mission after mission after mission. You're a big old mech. You have shooty bits. You have one little melee bit if you want it. You have missiles. You have laser weapons. You have thrusters, so you can fly around a bit. I played as a 4-legged mech, because you can customize everything. You can customize your head, your arms, your body, your legs. And I put on this little like spider 4-legged legs on him, and I was
four-legged legs.
I didn't. That was not good. But it's exciting because if you tap X, the jump button, while you're in the air, you start floating, and it doesn't use very much of your thrust. And I'm like, cool. So I like that a lot. But it's really fun. The missions are quite easy, but very fun to get through quickly. I don't think I did not die on a single regular mission. But the bosses, that's where the FromSoft DNA comes in, because they're brutal. The first boss was exceptionally difficult, and I was like, am I not able to play this game? But I kept my head down. I learned. I tried a few different setups. The game very much encourages you to try new things. If you buy some guns for your mech or buy pieces and you don't like them, you can sell them back for the same price you paid, which means you can be like, okay, I'm just going to try something completely different instead. And if you fail on a boss, you can change your loadout from that checkpoint. You don't have to restart the mission just to change what guns you have. So the first boss I was doing terribly on, and then I completely changed my loadout, and then all of a sudden everything kind of switched. And I was like, oh, I was just doing this, I was approaching this all wrong. And by the halfway point, I found a setup I really liked, and I only changed a few minor things at that point. But I really liked it. There were 4 or 5 major bosses that did trip me up a bit. There was one particularly difficult one. It's a 5-chapter game. At the end of chapter 4 was the most difficult boss. The final boss was actually quite easy, but hey, what do I know? Oh. You can play this game, to get the true ending, you have to finish New Game Plus. And I was like, I loved it.
That's a lot.
But it was 11 hours long, and I was like, I don't want to play another 11, because the story parts are quite boring. It's just people talking over blank screens, basically. There's a few cutscenes, but most of it is just people talking with weird gaps. They'll be like 621, I need you to go down to the surface and take care of this mission for me. And I'm like,
they forgot. They forgot what they were saying.
There's so many long pauses, and I'm like, and you can't skip lines. So it's I either skip the whole scene or I just sit there and enjoy all of the Ray Chase pauses. Ray Chase, the voice actor's in this. He's really good. I like him.
He do be pausing.
He do. I don't think he paused. I think the game say slow down, Ray. They don't know what you're saying. But the gameplay itself is very fun, very frenetic and fast. It's very stunning to look at as well. But like I said, that chapter 4 boss was super challenging. It had a lot of Souls DNA, big swords swinging, all this crazy stuff. It was definitely the highlight of the entire game. And it was funny because I was suffering with it for an hour straight. And then friend of the show Cameron was online on PlayStation, so I started sharing my screen with him so he could watch. And he was just sitting there this is bad. He's like, this is brutal, and just laughing at me because the one attempt I got, because it's a 2-phase fight, you've played Souls, I got the boss down to a sliver and died.
Oh god.
And I was like, oh my, and I stayed calm, and he was like, no, and I was like, bro, I've been through it.
You've been through it.
But it was very satisfying to play. I very highly recommend it. It'll probably go on sale. I don't know. FromSoft games are sale proof. They usually stay really expensive. But I think maybe because it's not a Souls it'll drop. We'll see. I don't know. But I do recommend it. It was a lot of fun. And if you're the type that wants to get into crazy customization, there's a lot to do. A lot to do.
Were any of the robots?
They were not sexy.
Were any of the robots kind of handsome? No. What if you squinted and tilted your head a little bit?
Well, no. Well, you can make them you like super thin robot men, right?
Well, that's kind of crazy that you just said that. Right. But if I did, then would that be an option for me?
Here, let me. I'll link you some stuff.
Okay, great.
Well, I looked up Armored Core 6 sexy robot.
Oh.
And I'm sending you the link. Well, it's not Rule 34. It's just you can click it now. I don't think that this game's going to entice anybody who's looking for that. If that's okay with you.
Where did you send the link?
I just put it in the sheet.
Oh, in the sheet. Right.
So.
Not going to entice me. Well.
What do you think the robot is sexy?
We can make this work.
Okay. I did send a second one that you should click on.
Oh. Where?
I just replaced the link.
Oh, okay. Right. Oh. Well.
Somebody, you can paint your robot in Armored Core 6, and somebody just painted a buttocks onto the butt.
A buttocks. What a beautiful little buttocks.
It is pretty little.
It's like kind of Hank Hill, but a little bit.
On this giant robot. No, the robots are not sexy in this game.
Well, that's true. To some.
Did you play anything besides what you usually play, Kelly?
No, I finished Phantom Liberty. Did I tell you guys that? No, I guess because we haven't recorded since before I finished it. Well, I finished Phantom Liberty. I cried a little bit. It was that serious. I loved the ending of that expansion. I felt very strongly about the story of that expansion. It made me feel similarly to how I felt when I played Red Dead 2. Like, I just felt like the story was really, really, really good. I don't want to get too spoilery, so I'm not going to say anything, but I highly recommend, if you've seen one ending, to go online and look at the others, because I think there's a lot of context that you can miss in certain endings and a lot of flavor that you miss if you don't at least watch a little bit of all of them. So, just my thoughts.
Yeah,
So I did finish that.
Because there's 4 endings, right?
Yes.
There's 2 critical paths, and at the end of both critical paths, there's 2 choices.
Yes, that's correct.
Because I went down one critical path, picked an ending, was very satisfied with it, and then was like, oh, well, I'll just hop back in and pick the other ending. Because it's like basically just like pick your cutscene. Like, there's not a lot of context after that. And I hated the second one. I was like, I'm real glad I didn't pick that, because that sucked. We could discuss that off air, though, because spoilers. But I'm glad I picked the one I did the first go.
Yeah, me too. I actually ended up really liking my ending after the fact, after I saw the other ones. I was like, oh.
That's funny.
I think I'm pleased with mine.
But
it's hard because none of the endings are happy. They're all
unhappy.
None of them are like perfect, so you kind of have to pick.
What about the one where you kiss Idris Elba on the face?
Where did you unlock that one? And can you tell me exactly how and where and how and when and any special steps that I have to take and any money that I might have to spend?
Cyberpunkmod.com / smooch read Solomon.
Back in the early days when Cyberpunk was younger, there were certain mods that would replace the Joy Toys, which were the paid sex workers in the game. They would replace their models with Johnny Silverhand, who was Keanu Reeves.
Crime.
So it would be like an immersive first-person Keanu Reeves experience. But those mods were removed because Keanu Reeves is a real person. And for legal purposes, they can't do that.
Yeah.
But when they told him about it, he was like, that's pretty cool.
That's real. That's pretty cool.
I know,
it was that,
he was
that
such
cadence.
an old man about it.
I hope that was the exact cadence when CDPR was like, hey, we got bad news. He's like, what?
Yeah. Well, they didn't tell him about it. An interviewer told him about it.
That's really funny.
They were like, people like made a mod of your character in Cyberpunk to like bang him. And he was like, that's awesome. I'm like, okay.
That's so funny. What a cool guy.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just a little bit of history for you guys.
I
never downloaded those mods because that would not be good. That would be bad. So I never did that. I actually only played Cyberpunk on my PC for a little while because I felt like it was starting to melt my PC, so I stopped.
I thought this was going to be a speedy episode. And then we talked about like really big stuff halfway through that episode.
Yeah,
that had nothing to do with the news.
Sometimes with these episodes that seem like they're going to be shorter, it's kind of like, we end up talking a little bit more about other stuff, so they end up being longer anyway.
Well, the audience has had long episodes, but like we've been off for weeks. We're rejuvenated. We were excited. We got a mouthful of teeth.
We're really bringing it back around. Yeah, I had a great time. I've got some Applebee's waiting for me, so.
The Applebee's?
Yeah. The light in my room looks weird.
I have Factor waiting downstairs. This episode is not brought to you by Factor.
I wish it was, and they would send me some meals.
I already gave you didn't I give you a free box?
Yeah, I have to activate it. I'm sorry.
You better freaking hurry. It expires never.
Please don't yell at me.
I just did.
You guys, I've also been playing Three Houses again. Can you believe it? Well, I started a Golden Deer run like a year ago, and I never finished it, so I want to finish it.
You did when we did.
But I'm kind of overwhelmed.
You did it when we did that second anniversary thing where we talked about it on its second anniversary, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of overwhelmed though because I have a lot of characters. Like I have a bunch of the Blue Lions and the Black Eagles, and it's like too many units.
We need Persona 3 to come out for your sake.
Less than a month. Why are you thumbs downing me? I'm being thumbs down in our Google Meet. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Happy 2024. We're so excited that you're still here with us in this brand spanking new year. I hope you have a great day, a great week, a great month. We will see you next week, same time, same place. Bye.